What is going on, Gwen?
How's it? Not much. I tell you, our guest is going to laugh at us. We were joking about being Southern, but we both fangirling over him, so I hope he realizes this. And I looked him up today. He's fanboying, fangirl. That's right. But I looked him up today, and I know he's done so much, been so many places that I'm so jealous of, by the way. But it kept going and going. And I made the joke to Nate that if we read his bio in length, that it would take the whole show. So
no, like legitimately it would. He's been doing this for quite some time. I think a little bit over 25 years. 12 different books. He's got more than that, I do believe, in 6 different languages. Like the dude is awesome. I've been a huge fan of his for a long time, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him tonight. I've been wanting to reach out to him for quite some time, and I finally one night was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna message him. And so I did, and well, here we are. So I'm super stoked to have him on the show tonight. Welcome to Wicked Wednesday, everybody. And this is the 3rd show of the night. You know, we had Christina Bloom this morning. Then we had Shane McLean. I don't know who his guest was tonight. I know it was a last minute.
He had a nice guy from South Carolina, actually, a local type guy, come in talking about his team and things they do. And nice. It was nice. Last minute popped in, rescued us. It was wonderful.
Nice. And I do believe it's solidified that next week you can catch me and Shane on the same show, because I'll be doing Shane McLean's podcast next week. So it's going to be a fun show. But tonight, guys, we have a person who is not only an author, he's a podcaster. He is also one of, in my opinion, one of the best paranormal researchers in the business when it comes to actually going into the history and relaying tales of hauntings as a storyteller. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Jeff Belanger.
Hey.
Jeff, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm sitting on a rainbow. So thanks for having me. Yeah, it is. It's always funny to me when someone's like, "Oh, I've wanted you for a while." I'm like, well, then you asked.
Now we know.
So this is a good moment for me to say I'm not psychic. We just proved it.
I have this thing where I feel like my podcast is not popular enough yet for more famous people to come on.
Right.
And so I just don't ask. It's an intimidation thing, if that makes sense.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I love talking about this stuff. I do. And I mean, you know, it's also like the landscape of the paranormal is changing so drastically. Like the shows are gone. The events are dwindling because they're not fueled by, you know, TV celebrities anymore. And which is cool. Cause like, by the way, when I started, this was all underground, right? We started on the internet. We were organizing like groups on web pages and stuff. And we were happy to be underground. It was comfortable there. And so if that's where we're going again, I don't know. I'm used to it. I'm good. I've got friends there.
I like that aspect because I go around from time to time. I do public speaking events, you know, at Paracons and stuff. And I think it was the last Paracon in Salem that I spoke at. I was like, I never intended to be up here speaking in front of people. I wanted to stay under the radar. But here I am. Synchronicities, it happens the way it happens.
Sure.
And so, Jeff, let me ask you, what got you into the paranormal as far as researching and wanting that general interest? Was it an experience that you had, or was it just a general interest that you had as far as being from a younger age?
So I was raised Catholic, which I don't know why I feel like I have to divulge that, but if you're Catholic, you're like, oh, I get it.
Fair.
Just like, and in Catholicism, you've got God and the devil, and you've got angels and demons, and you've got purgatory, whatever that is, and you've got saints and sinners, and there's a very wide spectrum, and I believe plenty of room for ghosts, however you want to define it, within sort of my belief system. Growing up where I did in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, that's the town next to Monroe. I knew Ed and Lorraine Warren since I was like 13.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'd go see their talks at libraries and stuff in the fall. And I had friends who lived in old historic houses that said they were haunted. And I did not have an experience, but I'll pray for you, Morgan. I did not have an experience, but I had friends who did, and we would have sleepovers and stuff like that. And I thought, that's really interesting because I didn't think my friend was lying to me. You could tell when people are full of it or whatever, but they're like,
Yes.
oh, just someone lives here with us and we see him from time to time. And so we'd break out the Ouija board and I was intrigued. I think I knew I wanted to be a writer from a pretty young age. And I started writing for newspapers and magazines and I was a features guy. Never really hard news. That didn't interest me as much, but I loved talking to people and I've always loved history. And so I got hooked writing Halloween features for newspapers in the mid 1990s.
Nice.
And that evolved into starting a website called Ghost Village back in 1999. And then started writing books. And then that evolved into working for Ghost Adventures since 2008. And then, more books and more projects and doing my own thing. And I love it. I love this subject. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And let me further say that after 27 years of doing this, I'm not even qualified to work on anything else anymore. So I'm kind of stuck. We're committed now.
That's fair. You're in it for the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
And I actually remember when Ghost Village first started.
So do I.
Were you alive?
I was actually. I'm 40.
Okay, all right, good. All right.
But no, I remember when Ghost Village first started, and that's actually what kind of got me into looking into who you were.
Okay.
So if that kind of traces back to how long I have been a fan, that says something.
Well, thank you. So really interesting thing happened. I don't know if this is too inside baseball, but whatever. So we, when Ghost Village started, message boards were all brand new. And we started message boards. And, the whole site started, I had some interviews I'd done with Ed and Lorraine Warren, some research I did on the town, Dudleytown. And I just put I wanted to learn HTML. So I was literally teaching myself how to do this. And then I put up some message boards. And eventually we had 50,000 members that were sharing stories, research, EVP, videos, photos, whatever, commenting on it. It was amazing. The discourse. Yeah, there were trolls and there were idiots and everything else because, that's the nature of the internet. But for the most part, 95% was really great and really interesting. And then something happened around 2009, 2010. Social media exploded, right? And destroyed message boards across the internet, including Ghost Village. Ghost Village is still there. We just don't have the message boards anymore. And on the one hand, I get it. So if you're into ghosts, which we were, but maybe you're also into guitars and classic cars and cooking and barbecue or something, whatever. Facebook allowed you to be members of all those groups and have it all in one place. I get it. I can't compete with that. I wasn't going to be Ghost Village and barbecue, right?
I do love me some good barbecue.
Although
I love
now that I say that out loud, it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
It doesn't at all.
Let me write that down. Hold on. Add barbecue. For whatever that might work. Okay. So I get it. So social media destroyed message boards, and I understand, and I'm not crying in my soup or anything like that. But what happened was social media tricked us into thinking that we're in charge, we're controlling the content we see, and this is all for free, And by the way, don't take my word for it. If you have a Facebook account, go to your page, your main page, and look at the feed and tell me how much of that stuff are people you actually follow and how much is it sponsored stuff now? Because I know for me, when I just go to the main feed of all of it, I'm I follow 2 people out of 25 posts. Everyone else paid to be there. And I'm I don't even get the people I want to see anymore. The people I chose to follow, and I want to see what they have to say. I don't get it because I got to see ads for stuff.
Yeah,
barbecue.
That is ridiculous. I do, like I said, I own a smoker. I love barbecue and I love cooking.
Of course.
So, that doesn't bother me one bit when I see a good barbecue video. I'm hey, you know what? I need to use that mop sauce next time I do a brisket. I mean,
I'm with you, but if you were on Ghost Village, I never tried to push barbecue on you. I figure you had your own source for that, right?
Never.
Or mortgage or politicians, right?
And Ghost Village was awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks. But my point is, I feel like a revolution, I hope, is coming where people are kind of hey, this isn't so. Look, social media is not good for us. We know that. It's making us fight. It's feeding us stuff that keeps us addicted to it. And I mean, man, I just miss ghost hunting. I miss Let's just go to a cemetery at midnight and look for ghosts, you know, like let's stop doom scrolling and let's get out there and do stuff again. And I really am starting to believe in like more traditional media again. Like there were years I didn't write any books. I mean, I wrote a lot of books in those early years and then I completely stopped. And now I'm doing like one a year again. And I love it. I fell in love with it again because like a book lets you express yourself a certain way. Just like sometimes a selfie video is really great because you just have a little something to say. Right. And that's perfect. That's the medium for it. I love podcasts because it's so intimate. I love like being in someone's ears or in their cars or in their kitchens while they're cooking barbecue and getting brisket ready. Right. Like I love the intimacy of that. And I love that. Yeah, I know the ghost barbecue thing's happening, Ash.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, that's done now.
It just started.
And you heard that here first.
Yeah, we're gonna start a GoFundMe before this thing is over, and we're gonna have franchise opportunities available. Get in on the ground floor. It's gonna be great. We're gonna use Nathaniel's recipes and you know.
Oh, I got you. I got an awesome freaking coffee and black peppercorn recipe for my brisket.
Yeah, it just needs a clever name, right? Coffee and black peppercorn. All right, so we'll call it Haunted Java. I don't know. Like we'll work on it. We'll work on the name. We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
Just spitballing right now. But anyway, so like so we're in like this interesting time where, hey man, there are people that still absolutely love the paranormal and ghosts and haunted places, but we just keep getting distracted by like shiny things all over our feeds. I'm like, I don't know. Let's put the phones down. I spent all day today in Western Massachusetts. We're doing a film project for PBS, America 250, but America 250 with like a paranormal twist, which was why I was called in, right? Which is super fun. So I've always thought a ghost story can trick you into learning history, right? So if I tell you that building's haunted, the next words out of your mouth should be why, right? Yes. And then I can answer that. And the why is let's go back in history. And in this case, like one of the places we did today was so cool that there's a thing called the Knox Trail where Colonel Knox went all the way across Massachusetts, bringing all these British cannons back to Boston to kick the British out of Boston. And it's just a great story. That's one of many that you just not necessarily hear about unless you live here or whatever, but it's a cool story. And there's this like leftover ghost at this old inn, you know, that's hundreds of years old out there. And it's really cool I just get so excited about those stories because I'm like, all right, it's haunted. And this very historic, important event happened right here, like right in the front yard. And we get to talk about that. It's my two favorite things.
No, and that's awesome. So from what you just said, there has been, you are one to go out into the field and physically investigate. So yeah, but you will not find me with EMF meters and all that other stuff. You'll find me with a pen and a paper and a camera. But that's to document, not to try to show you evidence of anything. I've done that. I have all that. And I love that people do it. It's totally cool. It's just not for me. Like, I don't want to sit in the dark all night with an EMF meter and wait for it to go off. Who does? But I will interview people that have seen ghosts. I'll go out there in the dark with you. I'll walk through the building and see what I feel and experience. I've always thought it was funny. I remember this was, oh my God, this must have been like 15 years ago. We were in Waverly Hills in Louisville. I've never been. Oh, it's amazing. Like I can't stress how not psychic I am. But the first time I walked in that building, I was like, whoa. You know, the feeling of being watched. Yes. This was this. You ever go to the food court at the mall? Right. Yeah. You know how it's crowded? That's what it felt like. Like, forget one person watching you from the corner. I'm like, this is the food court, man. There's hundreds here, right? I was like, whoa, it was everywhere. Place was off the charts. It was amazing. Anyway, it was late at night. We're walking down the hall, and there's these folks walking with all this gear in their hand. They got an EMF meter and like a REM pod and all these other things. And they're looking down 6 inches in front of their face. And they're like, yeah, nothing at all. And I was like, there could be like 30 ghosts, like 10 feet in front of them going, hey, they wouldn't see it. Cause they're just like, eh. It's like, So I don't know. Put it down. Let's look. Sorry, I'm trying to interrupt. In my opinion, 80% of investigators out there that bring this so quote unquote paranormal detection equipment have no idea how it even works to begin with. Right. Yeah.
so like an EMF meter, we live on a magnet called Earth. And if we didn't live on a magnet, we would die. We would literally be sizzled by the sun. And so lots of things can set those EMF meters off. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have their value. They do. I remember in my early days, there was a woman who was complaining about horrible visions at night. She was so scared to go to bed. And we're like, all right, so we pull out the EMF meters because that's what you're supposed to do. And she, you know, right next to her bed was a nightstand, not uncommon. Right on the nightstand, not uncommon, was a clock radio. Well, the EMF meter was pegged right by the clock radio. And I'm like, dude, this thing is really poorly insulated. It's just, you know, wow. And we said, what if we move the clock radio across the room tonight or get rid of it and get a different one? And lo and behold, the ghost went away. She was one of those people that were highly sensitive to electromagnetic fields, and she was sleeping inches from one. And then in that case, an EMF meter solved the haunting. So yay.
Yes,
but it wasn't a ghost.
She suffered from electromagnetic hypersensitivity.
Yeah, right.
I have a
Yes,
question.
people can't walk under power lines. Yeah, I know you said a pen and paper. I did. Also a camera. Any other tools? I don't. Not anymore. I just don't. I had them all, Morgan. But and I'm not poo-pooing them. They just don't call to me. You know, like
Right.
I get that there's people that want to nerd out and use the gear and all that other stuff. Have at it. That's awesome. But it just doesn't. It's not my thing. No other reason. I tried
that's
it.
fair.
Everybody has their things. Exactly.
I know, and I'm going to kind of jump topic here because I have 2 pages of questions, and I'm going out of order here now.
All right, good.
You brought up that you know, you've done research for Ghost Adventures since 2008 when the show started. Can I ask you, is there a differential as far as the research that goes into it when you do research for the show compared to when you're doing research when you're researching to write a book?
Absolutely. It's night and day. In television, I've got a minute or a couple minutes. And by the way, 1 minute of spoken text is like, if you talk fast, maybe 100 words, maybe 90. And so 3 minutes would be 300 words. To give you an idea, right? That's like, if we're single spaced, that wouldn't fill one page, right? So the challenge when you're writing for television is, how can I hit the bullets? Because like, you know, like I got to get the high level bullets. We can't get into like who the architect was, you know, all this other stuff. So we just got to hit the most relevant points. And my sincere hope is that if that particular location interests you, that it'll send you further to go research it, like deeper
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, then we can offer you. And I get not every location it's like a song, right? You might love a song and I might not like that song, and someone else is just mediocre on it. Some places call to us and we want to know everything about it. And my hope is that you dig deeper. In a book, you got the space. You know, you got the space to go. You only use cat balls. That's disgusting. Oh, you meant the glow. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm like, I mean, spay and neuter. Sure. It's a good idea. We got to like keep our pets under control, but you meant the ones that light up and not actual testicles.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank God. Cause I'm like, I've never even heard of that. Like, what do you just
know
like
what?
push them around like trigger objects? You're like, meow.
I don't know if I could trust my girlfriend anymore if she's bringing legitimate cat testicles.
Yeah. These are like, there's Rocky Mountain oysters. I've had those. This would be like paranormal. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
Look,
we got to work on our names.
Barbecue menu.
Yeah, the barbecue and maybe cat balls could be on the barbecue menu.
No, I just said we're not adding that, Jeff.
Why? Oh my God. I love you. I love you too, Ash.
Everybody's laughing.
I love you, Morgan. I don't even know who you love. Morgan loves Morgan? I can't tell.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Kids
Lord.
today.
But yeah, no, I knew there would be a differential compared to the time frame that it takes to write up a script for television, per se, as far as the history goes. And you obviously have more time to write a book because you're writing it at your leisure. I assume there is a deadline when you say, hey, I'm going to write a book.
You're adorable with your leisure. Like those like those things just get done in the spare time. Oh, you're so cute. No, man, look, hey, look, for me, like if I'm working on a book, you got to work on it every day, because otherwise, for me anyway,
Yeah.
like it's like it's the difference between a sprint and a marathon. Like marathons get done like 1 mile at a time. They don't get done, going as fast as you can. They get done pacing yourself, but you also can't take time off. You got to just keep going. For me anyway. But TV is like very high level, right? That's just the nature of it. It's just we got to hit the highest level bullet points. But also, if I can give you a nugget or two that might surprise you that took place in certain buildings, sometimes we uncover stuff that might have occurred on the land before the building. One of my favorite research tools is Sanborn fire maps, which I can't recommend enough.
Oh.
They're on Library of Congress. They're free. You don't have to pay anything to go see them. So Sanborn fire maps, if you're ever like almost every city, even the small ones, have Sanborn fire maps, probably dating back to like the mid 1800s, latter half of the 1800s. And so if you're researching an address and it's at the corner of 5th and Maple, right, you can go to the old Sanborn maps and you can see what building was there and whatever year the map was, like 1880 or 1860 or whatever. And maybe it was a different building back then. And you can research that building that was on the same exact footprint. Maybe it was, something else. Maybe there was an empty lot. I don't know. But those maps give you some insight into what was there before what was there. And that's always interesting to me. It's just like peeling back layers.
No, and now I've learned something, because like I love to research. One of my favorite places to go is Medfield State Hospital in Medfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
And this is my research folder on Medfield State, Massachusetts.
Wow. Look at you go.
And I've got every property record from 1912 forward.
Why Medfield? Where are you based? I don't even know.
I'm actually out of New Hampshire.
Oh, all right. So okay, that makes sense then. Okay, yeah,
but
cool.
I've always had a fascination with the place, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
it just kind of drew me in, and then I started researching, and well, that's what came of it.
That's awesome. Hey, the thing about Medfield State is that, first of all, every building, every location is of course unique, but also Medfield State is not unique, right? In that it's these old Kirkbride asylums that, were wonderful places that did really great work. They had some practices that seem barbaric today, like shock therapy and cold water baths. Although shock therapy is back, by the way. Like there's a lot of, oh yeah, absolutely. And not the way they used to do it where they're electrocuting you. But I mean, it is an effective tool to treat like extreme disorders like depression or whatever. Anyway, here nor there. And then they got overcrowded. They got underfunded. The conditions became deplorable, dangerous, awful. And then they were shut down. And to me, like there's a whole American story there that that's what I said, gals. Shock is still around.
My question is how does one get in on this said shock therapy? Because I'm curious.
Okay, so what you do, you fill the bathtub, you take a toaster. Don't do any of this. Don't do anything that I'm saying right now.
There was satire, people. Do not listen.
Don't.
I love.
Don't do it. Huh. Oh God! One of my favorite comics is Gary Goldman, and if you follow Gary's work, and he's a great storyteller, great comic, from Massachusetts as well, from Peabody, if you care. But he was treated with shock therapy. He was treated with they would put him under, they would sedate him, and then shock his brain, and it was enough to reset him. He claims it helps fix his depression. So it is an effective tool. Yeah,
that is crazy. Sure. I didn't know that was still a thing to this day.
Yeah. So
I surely hope there's no places out there still doing fucking lobotomies.
You could use a microwave too. Gals, ghosts and ladies.
Ghosts and ladies.
That's better than ladies and ghosts. That'd be lag. Good call on the name. See, I suck at names. This is where our barbecue is never going to be successful.
Look, I will make it successful. I promise you.
All right. I mean, it can't just taste good. It's got to sound good.
It does.
Fair.
Catchy. So, have a catchy name.
I got it. Cat balls. No. Shit.
God damn it.
Yeah.
So
That's no good either. Oh, toaster bath. No, that won't work either.
I mean, you know what? I am a weird dude. I would actually name a restaurant Toaster Bath.
Gals
I'm
is
not
out of
sure.
Quincy. You know, you pronounce it QNZY.
And
You
it
don't
would
even
probably
need any vowels.
succeed.
It would. It would. We're centered in Quincy, which I hate that fucking town. Besides the USS Salem, I love the USS Salem.
Wow.
But
The poor people of Quincy. We have presidents from there, sir.
I know we do. But let me tell you, their traffic sucks.
That does. That's true.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's my response, because I get high anxiety in high traffic areas. I can't focus. I don't like it. It makes me really anxious.
That's why you live in New Hampshire. No traffic
Exactly.
and cheap booze and no sales tax. Live free or die.
So for those who are not familiar, you're not only one to research ghosts, you also research a lot of folklore.
Oh yeah. Well-
And so I did watch the podcast with Jeremy Brunson, and you guys brought up the 13 Yule lads from the Icelandic folklore.
Oh yeah.
And
God.
I think that folklore is so interesting because you got 13 people who do 13 weird freaking things throughout the time frame.
So once you go down the rabbit hole, there's no point in going like a quarter way in, right? So
Right.
because I know from
Right.
doing this a long time, you know, one person's ghost is another person's alien, is another person's demon, is another person's coincidence, is another person's hallucination, is another person's it's just I had too much garlic with dinner, right? So so I totally get that. But the folklore is like that's the story that kind of endures. The reason you heard of any place ever being haunted, any of them, is because someone told a story.
Yes.
And that story was believable enough that it was repeated. And then maybe someone else said, you know what? I'm going to go look for myself. And then they went and maybe they saw something and then they told others, right? Or maybe they went and nothing happened. I looked, there was no ghost. It's not haunted. It's like saying, you know, I got struck by lightning in this field. Yeah, I went there yesterday. It was sunny. You know, you're like, I get it.
That's
There
fair.
was no storm or lightning yesterday, but that doesn't mean there was never lightning there, right? So anyway, so the story though is the thing that can't be argued. It can't be disputed. Yes, I know it changes, it evolves, it morphs, it you know, we put ourselves into it, it changes over time, but there's nuggets in there that sort of carry through the through line, and it connects us to our past, and it connects us to our history and to our locations. And so these stories, the Yule lads are awesome. I wrote a book about all the monsters of Christmas. Turns out Halloween is the second scariest holiday of the year. I mean, who knew? It's a distant second. And I know a lot of our friends here love Halloween. It's their favorite holiday. And I will not try to talk you out of playing favorites with the second scariest holiday. If you're not ready to go pro, I understand. Christmas. Ghosts are scary. They surprise us. I get it. Boo. Woo. Christmas could kill you. There are monsters coming that will take your life if you're naughty. And I don't know who you hang out with, but everybody I hang out with is on the naughty list. Just saying. Otherwise, I wouldn't be friends with them.
I most definitely am.
That's true.
I mean, because, you know, when it comes down to that, when it comes to Christmas, you not only have Krampus, right?
Right.
You
Yes.
have the Yule lads, which they're not really harmful per se. I would perceive them as more mischievous.
Their mother is
Oh, their mother is for sure.
Grilla.
Oh yeah, that's
Dude,
true.
what you have a what?
I got this in
I like
Iceland.
that now.
That is awesome.
Her bag has got little naughty children in it.
That is
Aw.
awesome.
Now, let me
And
tell you
then-
what she's going to do with them. She's going to take those kids up to her mountain lair, cut them into pieces, cook them in a stew, and feed them to her husband. They're dead.
Yep.
And you're afraid of ghosts at Halloween. Come on.
Right.
That's-
And then you also have the weird. I believe it's also an Icelandic tradition, and I'm not sure I'm gonna pronounce this right. The Yakokoturin, the Yule cat.
The Yule cat. Yeah, that's her familiar. The Yule cat. It's Yule cat's awesome. So in Iceland, you're supposed to get new clothes on Christmas, and you lay them out for the Yule cat to see. And if you don't get new clothes, the Yule cat will come and kill you. Everything is lethal. Like you die. Isn't that awesome?
Okay. Yeah.
That is so insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Like-
we got Santa in the mall going, "Oh, I might bring you less gifts." Boo hoo. Scary.
Right? Santa's not being like, did you get new clothes? Because if you didn't, I got
I'll
something
kill
coming
you.
for you.
Oh no, I'm only going to get 3 Xbox games, not 4. Oh no.
So that one kind of fascinated me because I am still not sure where this tradition started taking place as far as whether Yule Cat comes into play. Why is it so important? If you even know, if you can answer, you might not be able to. Like, why is it so important to have new clothes before Christmas?
So part of that is that you work hard, you're contributing to the economy, to society, that you're taking the time to take care of your appearance. It speaks to a lot of things that are part of that culture. You also need to realize when I went to Iceland, I was there on the summer solstice. It didn't get dark, right? The sun doesn't really set. Sleeping was difficult when it's midnight and it's still bright out, you know?
Right.
If I went there at the winter solstice, it doesn't really get light. There'll just be a sliver of light. It's not quite above the Arctic Circle, but it's close. And so it's dark all the time. It's scary. It's frightening. You wander off, you know, like if you die from the elements or die from the gorilla, what's the difference? You still die. So we tell these stories in part to keep our kids safe and to keep each other safe. This is the time of year when the monsters come down from the mountains and take back what was theirs. They collect their rent. This is the time we stay inside and we stay protected. We have to work hard. We have to make new clothes or buy new clothes, and we have to give them to each other in order to, you know, keep everything rolling along. It's what we do. It's a tradition. And the thing about tradition is that, you know, if you do it enough, it becomes more than just a habit. It becomes sort of sacred. And if you break a sacred contract, there has to be a consequence. And that's right. I mean, you know, Mom made spaghetti and meatballs every Christmas my whole life. That's what we ate because it was an easy, delicious meal on a day where you don't feel like cooking all day. In my family, Christmas Eve was always the big fuss dinner. Christmas Day was spaghetti and meatballs. Can you imagine if my mom skipped that one year?
Oh, it would probably send a culture shock. Like, why did you not do the spaghetti and meatballs?
None of us would survive that. None of us. You, everybody. None of us.
And
all about control.
I do love some good spaghetti and meatballs. As long as the meatballs are done right, I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So, but these stories also, the legends allow us to sort of work out issues that we're still working on. The reason Medfield Hospital is haunted is because we have not solved the problem, right? There are people who need help in our society who are not being treated. And they're part of our homeless population. They're part of our prison population. We used to have facilities to take care of those folks, and we don't have what we used to have anymore. True. That should haunt us. Like these are the least of our people. These are the people that need the most help, and some of them aren't getting it because we just decided to shut down all these institutions in the 1980s. They weren't cured. Some folks need an institution. So that should haunt us. And we talk about it. And then when you talk about Medfield being haunted, again, why? Well, let me tell you what happened here. Let me tell you the story and why it shut down. And the most frightening, horrible part about the Medfield story is that it is not unique. Every other institution also was shut down. Every other institution got overcrowded. Every other one also got underfunded. And horrible things happened because people were pushed past the breaking point. And trying to care for these folks. And that's the tragedy. We have not reconciled that. Lizzie Borden's house is haunted because 2 people were murdered and no one was ever punished. That will haunt us as long as we remember it. And those stories, I think they're important because we know people still get away with murder. People still get away with crime. There's still injustice. There's still horrible things and scary things out in the world. Folklore, you know, when you tell monster stories, we tell them to our kids. We tell them, and we tell them well, because as adults, we know monsters are real. And I'll tell you the most frightening thing in the world about monsters. They don't have horns and they don't breathe fire. They look like us. That's the scariest part. You know, when we read the story Jack and the Beanstalk to kids, There's a great book by Bruno Bettelheim called Power of Enchantment. And this was like the 1970s. And he was talking about how hardcore, the old fairy tales used to be, like before Disney got their hands on them. The original Cinderella story, right? The stepsisters, one of the stepsisters cut her toes off to try to squeeze into that glass slipper and filled it with blood. The other one cut her heel off for the same reason and filled it with more blood. Disney's version somehow missed that. But like, so for example, the story Jack and the Beanstalk, we tell that story to our kids because we know who the giant is, right? The giant is us. And we know Jack, in this case, our children, have no chance of beating us at strength. We're stronger. We're bigger. They're no match. But we do want them to outsmart us because if they're ever abducted, if they're ever in danger by some adult, the giant, we know you're not going to beat them up, but maybe you can trick them and maybe you can get away if you're clever enough. The story serves a purpose, right? In that case, a fairy tale. Monster stories serve a purpose. And the other thing that like blows my mind, in some cases, the same monster turns up in cultures all over the world with different names and stuff, right? But similar descriptions with cultures that we're told had no contact with each other, which either means they all made up the same story or
there's actually something there.
There's something there. Yeah. I see your Mothman shirt, right? Like there's the Pomola of Mount Katahdin in Maine. It's a Thunderbird, right? There's the Thunderbirds of the American Southwest. It's Mothman. It's the same description, a Birdman that flaps its wings so loud it thunders. Was Mothman a harbinger because the bridge collapsed or just two things completely unrelated? Doesn't matter, right? We make connections because we're trying to make sense of the chaos. And that's another reason we tell and share these stories. Doesn't mean they're false. It means we're trying to work something out collectively.
Right. I agree with that 100%. Because, when you look at the historical depictions, right? Mothman, might he have the big red glowing eyes and look like a moth and he's cute and you just kind of want to cuddle him? I mean, because I would. But sure. The Thunderbird, when you now mention it, actually does kind of make sense as far as a description that would be tantamount.
Yeah.
And I would have never looked at it from that aspect. So speaking about cryptids, though, if there was a cryptid that could exist, what do you think that cryptid would be?
Sea serpent. So Lake Champlain, and I mean fresh or saltwater, because in my podcast, New England Legends, we've been doing, stories. We go around all 6 New England states. Every 6th state is New Hampshire, whatever. And so we have done serpent stories, giant serpent stories from almost every state. And so many of them, Cassie the sea serpent, the Gloucester sea serpent, Champ from Lake Champlain, who's literally filmed, like something weird was filmed 4 days ago. Like it's making the rounds right now on YouTube and stuff. Like there's this long wake and stuff. Yeah, I posted it. Well, I posted it in a Facebook group that no one can see because Facebook sucks. Anyway, so just bringing it back to a callback there.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I've looked this up. I'm like, okay, what's the longest snake on Earth? Right? There's anacondas and stuff like that, but the snakes that are being described in the water are going at like 100 feet plus, and zoologists tell us that can't be. And yet there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of witnesses. They go back centuries. They're in the newspapers so often. And once in a while, like a skeleton washes up on shore. Like one washed up on shore in 1939 and they held it up and the photo's in the paper. I have seen it. It's 30 feet long and they said it's broken, which means it would have been more than 30 feet long. And everyone's like, well, it could be an oarfish. Yeah, but that doesn't quite look right. And so suddenly you start going like, do we have to just dismiss the idea that there could be a giant snake in the water? Is that crazy of a notion?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. But boy, oh boy, no one's cataloged it yet, and they keep coming up. And so like the Loch Ness Monster, right? Very similar to Champ. I get it. You think it's like a plesiosaurus or some sort of dinosaur. but maybe it's just a serpent and you're just seeing the neck, the top of the head out of the water, right? And you think it's got a big body, but maybe it's just a snaky body. You know, what I love about all these subjects is that they teach us that we don't know everything that walks the earth with us, right? That's what a cryptid means. It means like,
That's true.
do we know for certain every creature that shares this planet with us? No. The ocean, we only know a fraction, right?
Right.
Is it that unreasonable, or is the world way weirder? You know,
It's definitely way weirder
than we can imagine, right? Like, so Bigfoot sightings. I have never seen a Bigfoot sighting, but I've talked to people who have. And what always amazes me about the narrative, right, is like, you know, this is the story over and over. I'm a hunter. I was in a tree stand. I've hunted these woods for 30 years. I know every skunk, squirrel, chipmunk, deer, bear, fisher, right? Like, I know everything. I've seen the things that are in these woods. And when I see like a 8-foot tall, upright, hairy creature walk by, I'm like, that doesn't belong here. Now the person is not. When someone sees a ghost, then that's huge, because you're like, oh my God, there's an afterlife. Like, that is absolutely huge. If someone sees what they believe to be a UFO come down, you're like, we are really not alone in the universe, is what you would say. When you see a Bigfoot, it is, to the hunter, right? It's like, it's an animal like I've never seen that just walked by. It's not quite the same level of whoa, right? But why don't we find dead ones? Why don't we? I know, it makes me crazy too.
Yes. So
I don't know.
I can tell you, Jeff.
Yes, there it is, gals. They go down the Mariana Trench. That's where the dead Bigfoot go. Makes sense.
I can tell you that I am not a hunter.
And the dead snakes.
I have personally had what I would think would be a Bigfoot experience twice.
That's 2 more than me.
But I am not a hunter. So I can't say it could have been a bear. It could have been anything.
Sure.
But I can tell you, I think I've had those experiences twice. But why don't we find bodies? That's the question that has always kind of bothered me. Because are they like humans and they bury their dead? Or do they cannibalize them? I mean, there's an open-ended question there that we may not be able to answer.
I got it. Bigfoot barbecue. We cook them. Yes. There it is.
There it is. There it is.
We got it. That's the name. That's the name. Yes. No, they might bury their dead. And by the way, this is where it gets much, much weirder. What if there really are aliens? And if they die, they get aboard a ship and they're gone. There's nothing to find. What if they're interdimensional and like the world is just way weirder? One of the things I've been kicking around a theory for years, like one universal through line that could explain all things paranormal, from cryptids to ghosts to aliens, UFOs, and everything in between, is time, right? That maybe every one of these things makes perfect sense somewhere in our timeline. An alien might be what we're destined to look like 1 million years in the future, right? Bigfoot might have been a creature that did walk the earth 1 million years ago. These lake monsters and sea monsters might have been totally normal 500,000 years ago, but not so much today. And a ghost is obvious. Well, that's a person who made sense 100 years ago, but not today. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I think the theories are amazing. And maybe this whole notion of time being linear is just a construct. And maybe we're sort of getting this like temporal shift where we see and experience things that flit in and out. So you don't find a dead Bigfoot because Bigfoot was here in our world for a second or two and then went back to his time and died there where you're not going to find him. I don't know.
True. So I see we have about
it's
15
fun to think about,
left.
though.
No, that's an excellent point. And I'm going to switch gears here because this is something I really wanted to touch on.
Well, our menu, we're going to work on our menu now for Bigfoot barbecue. Good.
I mean, we can.
No, you go ahead.
But I mean, I'm here for it. But and I think it was what was it, 2017? You made a trek and you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
I did.
So can I ask you, what made you want to do that?
Because it's there. Isn't that the answer you're supposed to give?
That's fair.
Yeah. So I've always been a hiker. I love New Hampshire. I've done a lot of the 4,000 footers, and I love just unplugging and getting out into nature. And Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest freestanding mountain in Africa, and it's hikeable. You don't need to like climb it with ropes and stuff like that. It's 19,341 feet tall, and it's the tallest peak on the continent, one of the 7 summits of the world, right?
Correct.
And there's so many things that sort of came together for that. But when I was in college, my last name is Belanger, but the proper French pronunciation is Belanger. Now, we haven't been Belangers in like 4 generations, right? My family's been here a long time. So long that it became...
I pronounced your name like that for years.
Belanger? What?
Yes.
Oh, you're too close to Canada. That's why.
Fair.
Yeah. So in Canada, it's a super common name, and it's Belanger. When I go to Canada or France, I pronounce my name Belanger. So I took French in high school, whatever. I should be no more fluent than any other kid. And I went to college, and my French teacher, who was evil, failed me because she's like, "Why aren't you fluent?" I'm like, "Because I was born here, and my dad was born here, and my dad's dad was born here. Like, why are you holding me to a different standard than like Timmy Jones over there?" And then I took Spanish because I had a language requirement, and I barely passed. It was so close to French. I was getting confused. And then I'm like, I need 2 semesters of a language that's not like French or Spanish. And someone's like, take Swahili. The professor's amazing. And I was like, where do they even speak that? And they're like, Eastern Africa. And I was like, all right, that sounds weird. Let's do it. And my mom's like, when are you ever going to use Swahili? And I'm like, whatever. The professor was amazing. I took Swahili 1 and 2. I took linguistics courses with this guy. It's one of the handful of really great teachers you get in your life.
That's great.
That was this guy, and I couldn't get enough. And then years later, my brother-in-law, Chris, sort of shocked us out of nowhere. He was diagnosed with cancer. He was like 42 at the time, and he had some stomach problems, and the doctor called him and said, "It's stage 4. You're terminal." And we were like, "What? Like, are you kidding?" And they said you have like roughly 18 months to 24 months to live. And during that time, he and I got a lot closer. And my sister sort of checked out of the whole thing, but he and I talked a lot about death and dying. And I had some of the most profound conversations of my life with him, just talking about this thing, by the way, that we're all going through. We're all dying. He was just on a faster car than the rest of us. And after he passed away, it was a couple months later, and I was doing a charity event at this like haunted building, and a woman from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society said, "Jeff, we got another fundraiser coming up," and I'd done stuff for them in the past. And she's like, I was like, "I'm so busy, Amy. I'll help if I can, of course." And she's like, "We're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro to raise money for cancer." And I was like, what? And
why wouldn't you do it?
Like, that had been on my bucket list. I just lost Chris to cancer. He and I got so close. I could do this in his memory, in his honor. I could raise money, and I could call my mother and say, "Guess who's going to go use his Swahili now?"
There you go.
And so we
wrote
trained
a book on this, correct? Called The Call of Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, I had to climb the mountain first, Nathaniel. You can't write the book first. Yeah, it's awkward. You know what I mean? Because like, what if you don't make it?
I dumped you. I apologize.
No, it's totally fine. So we trained, like a group of 5 of us were thrown together from New England. Nobody knew each other. We were all thrown together, and we trained for this thing, and then went over, and it was just so profound. It took 6 days to get to the top, 2 days to get back down, and it was like one of the most spiritual, physical, like every which way experiences of my life. And then I felt like I came home sort of changed from it. Not like night and day, but changed in a better way. And then writing the book about it was harder than climbing the mountain, because I've written books before, but like writing a memoir about yourself, I can be super objective with someone else's story. Like if you tell me your story, I can be like, okay, this is important, that isn't. I can edit. With yourself, where you lived every moment of it, it's very hard to be objective. And so that was a challenge. And it just was such a moving thing throughout. And then I figured, I don't know, maybe it'll resonate with someone else. And so sometimes you, for me anyway, like writing a book is an exorcism, and I mean it. Like an idea will just nag at me and nag at me. And the only way I can get rid of it is to like just put it on paper and just be like, okay, now leave me alone, right? Get it out there. And that whole experience from
Makes sense though.
Yeah, from like training to doing it to writing the book to talking about it was just so amazing. And I still miss my brother-in-law. I still miss Chris. But at the same time, like, I don't know, he's still with me. And I believe that. I truly do. And and I think that mountain climbing it can also just be very metaphorical, like everybody's got a mountain to climb, whether you're like trying to quit smoking or eat better or start a barbecue restaurant and be successful at that, right? It's all mountains to climb.
So what did it feel like when you finally reached the summit?
Barbecue.
Yeah.
And you were able to put your foot on the summit of Kilimanjaro. Like, what did that feel like to you?
So first of all, you can't breathe. There's no air up there, right? It's just so thin. It's like if you want to know, those little tiny skinny straws you get with your coffee at the diner, like the little skinny ones, put that in your mouth and just breathe through that. Now go jogging. Like that's how you just,
oh, wow.
It's just not getting enough air. So it's very hard to breathe. The irony was that the summit, and I've done enough mountains to know, like the summit isn't necessarily the best moment. That's the trophy you get to take home. But the most profound moment was watching the sunrise from the rim of the volcano, which was, 800 feet below the summit. I wasn't there yet, but the sun had like broken above the clouds, and we're above the clouds. And there's this moment, because there's a saying in Swahili that the top of the mountain, only those that God deems worthy is allowed up there. And I was ready to quit. 3 a.m. I was the coldest I've ever been. And I've been in like 60 below zero temperatures. This is tundra up there. It's absolutely frigid. And and I can't breathe. And I don't know if I can make it. And then when the sun rose, and I literally felt Chris's presence next to me, and he'd be the last person on a mountain, which is funny. So like, so I felt him next to me. And then I felt like at that moment, I was crying. I was just like, I'm going to make it. This is done deal. It's an hour away. It's another 800 feet. It's another half mile, but done. This is going to happen. And it was this like renewed sense of hope. That was just this profound moment in a sunrise, something that's happened every single day for billions and billions of years, changed everything. And I was like, oh man. And that was the takeaway. That was the best moment. Cause I'm like, no matter how bad it gets, that damn sun is going to come up tomorrow and I get another crack at this. And I have a photo that I took of it. I've had it made into postcards. I've given away thousands of them at this point. I got it tattooed on my leg. It's my only tattoo. And it's just like kind of like my reminder, no matter how hard it gets, well, number one, I can climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And number two, the sun will come up again tomorrow and we can try again, even if today was a total failure.
Yes, it will. So I know we don't have too much time left, but I did want to touch on one book that I absolutely loved that you wrote. And I don't know many people that I know in the paranormal that have this book.
No. Yeah, you're the only one. That was the one copy. That's great.
No, but I have asked so many people if they have this book, and they're like, no, I don't. I'm like, you need to check it out. It's awesome.
Good luck. You're going to get it used now. Yeah. So thank you. I loved working on that book. Legend tripping was like, that's what we do. Like any paranormal show you've ever seen, finding Bigfoot, ghost hunters, ghost adventures, UFO hunters, any of them. First and foremost, they heard a story and they chased it. And legend tripping is kind of like the insider folklore term, but nobody knew what it was. So when the book came out, they were like, what's that? If they knew me and they sort of trusted me, they might buy it and be like, oh, cool. Yeah, it's like looking for ghosts and monsters. I'm in. But I think the title kind of hurt us a little bit, whatever, here nor there. I still love every page of it, but I think nobody knew what to expect when they saw the title. And as we all know, everybody judges a book by its cover. And
They do.
True.
and that's one where I think the title might have missed.
I
But
thoroughly enjoyed this book. I still have the DVD with it too.
can you even
Oh, there's
play
a
it? Do you have a
DVD.
DVD player? I know.
I can.
Oh,
I can.
good for you.
But I love that book, and there was one section in here that I actually had bookmarked because I wanted to ask you about it. Defying Gravity and Ghostly Proof, the Legends of Gravity Hill.
Yes.
I know we don't have too much time, so if you could give us a short synopsis on your ideals on that.
So there's Gravity Hills in almost every state, right? Every state's got their Gravity Hill. Which one was that? Greenfield?
Yes.
Yeah. So that one in particular, Route 2 has this bridge, and there's an underpass under it. And so at the underpass, the story goes like a school bus fell off the bridge and all the children died. And if you park your car right before the bridge and put it in neutral, it will seemingly be pushed out of the way and uphill to safety by the ghosts of the children. If you want to test it further, you could put talcum powder all over the trunk of your car and then get in your car, put it in neutral. It will roll and it will go up the hill, and then you'll get out and you'll see all these fingerprints all over the back of your car. I've done it. It happens. It's true. But, right? A school bus going off and all the kids dying would have made the news, and there's no record of that. That's okay. Your car absolutely does start to roll. It does pick up speed, and it does go uphill just on the other side of the underpass, but it's sort of an optical illusion. There's a little bit of a dip in the road, just enough to get your car going. The fingerprints, totally true. Only problem is they're mine, right? And every time you close your trunk, you put your oils on it, and when you can go put talcum powder on your car right now, unless you just washed it, and you'll see fingerprints will start to form in just a few moments. They're yours. So, but all these things sort of line up, and you test it, you test the legend, and you're like, oh my God, it's true. As best I can tell, that story originated in Texas outside of Austin. And I've been to that train track as well, where I think a school bus was actually hit, but it's the same sort of thing. Seemingly against gravity, this thing gets pushed, and you combine it with a legend, you combine it with a ghost, and you combine it with evidence, and you test it, and it works, and the story just sort of endures. Even if I can explain it away, it won't matter. Someone will go there and go, I saw the fingerprints. My car actually rolled.
Right.
It's all real.
Yep.
And yeah, it is real to an extent.
Yeah, so the reason I wanted to touch on that chapter specifically was because that chapter made me think more logically when it comes to my, I guess you could say, the way that I approach the paranormal. And I go in and I debunk things. And that chapter is what started it, because you taught me something that I didn't know as far as the oils being left by your fingers. And it could pick, like, that started my whole debunking aspect.
Well, glad I could help. Yeah, look, hey, if we can explain it away, we should explain it away. And
Right.
I remember David Shermer, Skeptic Society, right? He said, look, 99% of this stuff can be explained. And I remember talking to him after. I'm like, I agree with you. It's the 1% that interests me, you know?
Yes.
Like, I'm with you, man. 99% can be explained. But that 1%, boy, that's where I choose to make my living.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, we're reaching the end of the show. I always close my show with 3 specific questions. I want to ask you, if you could go anywhere in the world, cost was not an option, to investigate the paranormal, where would you like to go?
Oh,
And that
God.
could be cryptids, it could be anything.
Yeah, no, I'd love to get inside the pyramids at Giza in Egypt. That would be very cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. So we got the
Yes.
pyramids of Giza. Considering the fact that you're an author, I'm just going to assume that I know what your equipment's going to be, but what are you bringing with you?
I'm bringing some barbecue and a pen and a paper and a camera, because I'll want to take
Love it.
selfies in there.
Love it. I love it.
And I might get hungry.
We're going to Giza.
Yeah.
You got yourself a snack.
Right.
And you're bringing your pen, your paper, and your camera. If you
Right.
could bring one person with you, who are you bringing with you? They can be alive or dead. You choose the person.
Gwen, she seems nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Nathaniel.
And I
You've
can
been
cook.
talking too much. She's been a lot quieter. I can't have you yapping
Hey,
in
I'm
my ear
listening.
in Giza. I'd take Gwen. There it is.
You know what? It's
I take good
fair.
pictures,
It's
too.
fair. I'm here for it. But Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and spending an hour with us, man. I really
Yes,
enjoyed the
thank you.
conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for about 5 minutes, we're gonna close the show out. We got one more ad to run. It's really quick, and then I want to ask you a question that I always ask everyone in the background.
Oof. All right, I'll be ready.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jeff.
So that was an amazing show.
Love him. Yes.
He is so funny, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of offended that he chose you over me, but no, I'm not really offended. I mean, I get it because I do talk a lot. But
Well, I do too, but I love hearing stories. I love all that. And I've never got to talk to him in person or on here before. So I'm soaking it in.
yeah,
very
yes,
much.
Morgan, I'll figure out something to put cat balls on the barbecue menu. We'll figure that out. But no, that was a great conversation. Like, the dude knows how to tell a story,
Yes.
and he is amazing. I am so happy that I was able to get him on the show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do not miss out, though, because Wicked Wednesday is not over.
Not yet.
Following my show, you have Jeremy Cotter, who is welcoming on Jason Voorhees himself, James Stokes. So that is going to be an amazing show to end out the Wicked Wednesday block. Please be sure to tune into my show next week, where we have rescheduled Resnick, Bobby Resnick Culkins, to give him a proper show, since last time he was supposed to be on here, the weather kind of said, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it did.
It did. But next week we have Bobby Resnick Culkins on, and it's going to be an amazing show. I thank everybody for watching tonight, and this is another Wicked Wednesday with the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, and I will see you all next week. Same spooky time, same spooky network. See you then, and have a great night.
Night.